Alrighty, how's it going, everybody? So I had a chance to play Call of Duty World War II at E3 2017 and want to get my thoughts on it. This is probably the most important Call of Duty game we've had in a decade. You know, the last time we had like that really super important Call of Duty game from what I can remember was Call of Duty 4. I mean, that was the last significant game in this series that just pushed it forward and changed the genre forever. And it's safe to say that we probably won't ever get that, but Call of Duty World War II is the result of a ton of people who were disappointed and unsatisfied with the whole sci-fi trend going on. I mean, keep in mind that every single Call of Duty game since Black Ops 2 has had a sci-fi setting, a near future or far future warfare setting that just didn't appeal to people, you know, in that sense that people wanted a boots on the ground traditional Call of Duty game, and we haven't had that for what, 5 years now? It's crazy. So with that being said, there's a lot more writing on Call of Duty World War II than ever before. And you can tell, I mean, playing this, I can honestly tell that the developers are a little bit scared out of their minds. In fact, I mean, you can just see that without any of the wall jumping and stuff, you play it like a traditional old school Call of Duty game, yes. But it also loses that flair of uniqueness. This game is the most basic of basic first-person shooters you can get. And to some people, they might be extremely happy to hear that because that means that they have their traditional Call of Duty game back. For others, I mean, like myself, I was really hoping that there was going to be something more, that they were going to finally change up the way the controls felt, that we were going to see that jump in the series like we saw that jump in the Battlefield series with Battlefield 3 from Bad Company 2. You know, it was just that jump was so apparent. The two games never looked alike, and the way the guns felt, they never felt similar between the two games, and it was a whole evolution of that franchise, and we still haven't had that evolution for the Call of Duty franchise at all. It's very unfortunate. And I was really hoping that Call of Duty World War II was going to be that, because I saw the trailer and I'm like, yes, this is awesome. You know, I'm one of those guys who, I'm not so into the whole World War II thing. Call of Duty was always about World War II, and you know, I really liked the fact that they introduced Modern Warfare into that, and it really just brought the series into new heights. And then they started doing this whole story-driven, sci-fi, extraterrestrial bullshit stuff that just wasn't, you know, it was fun. I will admit that some of those games were fun, but they just weren't a simulation. You know, they were more story-driven games. This is meant to be more of a simulation. This is meant to be more of a showcase of the grittiness that World War II had. And with the visuals on display here, I will say that, you know, this is Sledgehammer Games, and Advanced Warfare is a very good-looking game still to this day. This game looks I think a lot crisper than the previous Call of Duty games. I wasn't so impressed. Keep in mind that there are some compromises made still, because you still have to have that 60 frames per second feel. And so they have to have some compromises in order to get that done. But I thought the game looked just as good as any other Call of Duty. It wasn't so impressive. It didn't knock my socks off, but the game looked good. The lighting looked good. The weapons looked really nice. The game just was an overall good-looking game. Playing the game, however, I was just waiting to be impressed, honestly. That's really all I can say, is I was just waiting to be impressed. I played the game, and as I'm playing the game, I'm like, all right, this is Call of Duty. Okay, cool. And it was just like, I was really hoping that there was going to be a change in the way the movement felt, that there was more shaky cam action maybe, or that the guns actually had realistic full recoil on them, and you would have to, you know, really pay attention, you know, to your shots, and you know, things aren't accurate and stuff like that. I was really hoping like that in your face action, you know, and I just I never got it playing this. I think that, you know, for a Call of Duty game, those who like the Call of Duty series but just were waiting for a traditional Call of Duty game that would bring the series back to a World War II setting, that a more traditional Call of Duty game, I mean, this is right up your alley. This is perfect. It's the Call of Duty game that you're waiting for if you're waiting for a World War II old school Call of Duty game brought up to modern audiences and gameplay mechanics. This is it. But for if you're still waiting to see some evolution with the Call of Duty franchise before you jump in, well, I have bad news for you. You're still gonna be waiting, you know. It's a bit strange, you know, that's all. I gotta say, I was really surprised with this game. It's just a very basic FPS. And it's interesting because when you strip away all that sci-fi stuff, when you strip away the wall running and the jumping and stuff and all the movement, the super fast movement in the exosuits, when you strip that away, you really see how bare bones of a shooter this game really is. And it's kind of sad because all of the games are like that. If you strip away all those slides and all those, you know, special abilities and suits and whatnot, they all control the same exact way when on the ground. Just your standard fare. And I don't think that we're ever going to see a change in the Call of Duty franchise unless it goes under. This series will have to die first before we see any changes. And I really think Activision is reluctant. And you would think with the added 1-year development time, because keep in mind they have 3 years to develop these games now, you would think that they would add some more innovation here. But there really isn't. You know, and I don't want to hear the argument that, oh, if they change it, then it's not going to be Call of Duty. You know, it needs to feel the same in order for it to be the Call of Duty game. This is what Call of Duty is. If they change it too much, it's not going to be Call of Duty. Again, look at Battlefield 3 coming from Bad Company 2. Look at the Uncharted series. Every Uncharted game plays differently. New animations, the guns all feel different, the melee combat's all different, but it's still an Uncharted game. You know, there is evolution in series that fundamentally change things up without destroying the original vision and what made those games great. They just evolve the gameplay mechanics further. And you know, it's possible. I think that the fact of the matter is that Call of Duty is that casual game. I think Activision in particular looks at this game like they look at sports games. It comes out every single year. The same people who are gonna buy it are gonna buy it for sure. And we might get, you know, a couple new players in here that are really like the premise or whatever, but we have an audience, and the audience knows what they like, and we see no reason to change it up, because we already have what is still one of the most popular first-person shooters online in history. We still have that franchise, you know, especially with Destiny 2. You know, Activision has a lot of franchises. The problem is they just don't evolve them very well, or I guess don't support the evolution of them well, because I doubt the developers here actually want this. I don't think as a developer I would look at this game and say, all right, let's not change this. We're gonna reuse this animation here. Let's give it a World War II setting, and oh, there's the okay, it has to feel the same. It has to feel the same. It can't be any different. I doubt as a developer, as a creative person, you know, and I'm coming at this from a person who wants to eventually be in that position. I'm coming at this from a creative mindset. I can't imagine them sitting here and saying, yeah, let's just copy and paste, you know, and be done with it. Because I'm not satisfied with that as a creative. And, you know, I doubt that they are satisfied with that. I'm sure it's corporate, you know, saying, listen, they all have to have the same template. You add some new skins, change the environments, the terrain, whatever, but the template has to remain the same. This is your template, work and start from it. And I think that's just what happens. So anyway, I have a lot of footage here for Call of Duty World War II, the multiplayer footage. Actually, let's play 2 full games. And there's some good footage, you know, that Jacob has recorded for me, so thank you to him. So go ahead. I'm gonna put the audio back in the video so you can actually hear what's going on. Keep in mind I have headphones in, so you won't be able to hear the game, but still, it's better than silence. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about this game, please leave them in the comments. I'll go ahead and do my best to answer them, and I will talk with you all later. Thanks, and have a good one.
on YouTube.